Good evening. This is the Walpole Conservation Commission meeting of May 14th, 2025, in person. First hearing, Conservation Commission Wetlands Bylaw Notice of Intent, Stormwater and Bylaw Disturbance Permit in accordance with Walpole Wetlands Protection Bylaw. Notice hereby given the intent of Jenstar to construct at 32 Industrial Road, Walpole, Mass., map 46, lot 1, a multi-use office and maintenance building with vehicle service bays greater than 40,000 square feet and within the 100-foot buffer zone of an isolated vegetated wetland. Application and plans may be viewed at the Conservation Commission office or at www.walpole-ma.gov/Conservation Commission. Public hearing in the above matter will be held in person on June 12th, 2024, beginning at 7:15 p.m. All interested persons requested to be present. Hearing has been opened and continued. And we have email from the applicant, they would like to continue the hearing until the June 11th meeting, which would be, we have anything on? So we'll make that at 7 p.m. on June 11th. Someone want to make that a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
What do we got? 700. Okay. So, what else do we have here? You want to cover your emergency certificate?
Sure. So I think it was last time I presented the commission with emergency certification for the, excuse me, Bird Pond Dam. Office of Dam Safety wanted to remove some boards to help the dam, which is leaking around the edges, and take some pressure off of it until they, down the road, fix it in some fashion. And when they had requested the emergency certification, it was, they didn't exactly know when they were gonna do it. So I issued it at a particular time and gave them 30 days from that date. But they started April 28th, and they need more time. So I just revised it to April 28th to May 28th, which better suits their project. So I did sign it because I have authority to sign it because it's emergency to get it out the door. But if you guys could just sign it, so I have your signatures on file as well.
Okay, so I
So
want to make
that's the one.
so I want to make a motion to accept the emergency extension here.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
700.
Then there's a second emergency certificate, which is to Integrated Wildlife Control on behalf of Eversource Energy. There is a situation on their right-of-way down by Highland Street, which has been going on for years, where the beavers come in and built up their house and dam, and then it floods out the neighbors along the right-of-way. They put in a control structure several years ago, but I guess the control structure isn't working anymore, so they need to go in and do that work. So what happens is, they send a letter to Board of Health. The Board of Health issues their letter that the work needs to happen for health and safety, and then I get the letter, and then I issue the emergency certification. So I'm gonna pass that around as well. Again, this has already gone out with my signature.
Okay.
If I could have a vote and a signature from the board.
So we'll make that a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
700. We have some minutes. Let's see what we got here.
I guess so. Unless I missed one.
We got, what's the oldest one? February 26th. You have me marked as absent. I was present for most of the meeting. And there's something else on here. Oh, on page 5, the last paragraph on the bottom of the page, you had an infrastructure survey conducted by Fan O'Neill. I think that should be Fuss and O'Neill, isn't that the engineering company? Fuss and O'Neill,
Yes.
yeah. So that's- Just to correct,
FJ.
yeah. So those, correct, subject to those two corrections. Anybody have anything else? Just don't want to move the minutes, then
So
I'll
move.
Second.
all in favor? Aye. And what do we got, 2 abstain?
Yeah.
3. Who was here?
3.
3.
Medio, Bailey, and, yeah, 5.
2 abstain.
5 and 2.
502.
Yeah.
It was in February, right? March.
And the next one was March 12th.
I read them, good.
Um,
I know, I read them too, didn't you?
I was not here, so that's,
I know exactly what.
I don't think I had any on it. Anybody have anything for March 12th? Okay,
If I did, I already sent it in, but
someone want to make a motion to accept the minutes
So
from March
moved.
12th?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain. Well, let's see.
4,
3,
0, 3.
4, 403.
Yeah.
And then we have the minutes of March 26th. Okay, on the last page, I think you had copied the vote for the Pine Acres as part of, on your last, it's the bottom of the page that just needs to be removed. It's correct where it belongs in the minutes, it just somehow got added in there. So that, remove that. So subject to that, so I'm gonna move the minutes, March 26th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That'd be, it's 500.
5, 0, 2.
502. Yes. Okay. What else have we got here? The enforcement order.
So 120, 126 South Street is the enforcement order for the plantings. And again, it seems like they backfilled the subsurface system, stormwater system, and they still have a big pile of loam there, which they haven't got it to final grade, so they haven't started plantings yet.
Okay.
Did we give them a deadline? Because it was supposed to happen in the spring, and I can just imagine it going to June, and then it turning into too dry to do it until fall.
That makes sense?
If the commission would like me to give them, or if you want to give them a deadline, sure, we try.
Because I think it was way back last fall that they said they were going to do a lot of plantings in the spring.
Anybody have any objection to putting a deadline on it?
So what would be the deadline?
Okay, so, what is it? May 13th?
Yeah.
May 30th?
Maybe more like June 15th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
June 15th.
I think once they put the plantings in, they just shouldn't have trouble with having to water because they are right there at the building. But
Well, okay,
if you want to give them June 15th.
okay, but are we also saying they have to be, I mean, they have to survive the summer?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It wouldn't be like put them in the ground and then issue
Yeah.
a vacate of the enforcement order or
Yeah.
anything. So it's still, they still have to survive, and if they don't survive, they'll have to put them in,
And
replace them.
Replace, yeah. Okay, so some make that a motion for June 15th.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
700. Okay. I would say that the select board last night voted to provide the motion to the DCR on the Bird Pond Dam, basically to keep the pond more or less as it is, depending on water conditions and rainfall and whatever. It's a rather lengthy motion that was made, but that's, from our standpoint, that the pond, they recommended that it be kept on. And that goes to DCR, and they take that into account and decide what DCR does next. So, Landis contributed substantially to that decision with her report and with, they made a visit to the Norwood Ellis Pond Dam that you were involved with.
Yeah.
They were impressed with what they saw there, and I think it had some bearing on
Yeah.
their decision on how they wanted to handle that.
Yeah.
So anyhow, just for everybody's,
My name is on the plaque there.
oh,
I saw that, yeah,
Have
I saw
board
that.
comments, maybe?
I've been up there. Nice little sitting area up there, bench, everything.
A lot of people spend their lunchtime there.
Yeah.
so anyhow, just to let everybody know about that. Anything on the conservation property?
Conservation properties, so just, Gary Rigga did reach out to me that he believes he's gonna build the boardwalk for the North Street project, in June. So he's getting ready to, he's got his list together and he'll purchase the material and is planning to be out there in June.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Is it a lengthy boardwalk or?
It's about
Yeah.
100 feet or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty big,
Yeah.
the smaller ones, that we've done. Not as long as Jarvis Farm, so.
Right. I haven't been down that year. I was just waiting for them to finish the grading there on the entrance. So,
Right.
cool.
Yeah, well, the east side of North Street is finished, the entrance from the road.
Yeah, okay.
You can get down to the trail
All right, it is,
from
okay.
the road, yeah.
All right. I saw the machines there last week? They're done with it now? Okay.
Oh, they were there last week?
I don't really, I'll lose the track of
Couple
time.
weeks ago.
Probably a
Probably.
couple
A
weeks ago.
couple weeks ago, yeah.
So there, right, the ramp that goes down
Yeah.
on the Concom property side is in, so you can walk down
Okay.
to the public access
Gotcha.
easement
Yeah.
to the property. The other side is, they were gonna wait for the boardwalk to go in so they can meet the grade at the boardwalk.
Mhm.
So that's not completely done yet.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
And I guess also, well, yeah.
Um,
More later.
Okay,
Just to let, so Eversource also sent in a letter for a work that they're gonna be doing off of Delaney Drive near Saddle Way, that they need to replace a pole that's sitting in the at the edge of the wetlands. Pretty minor work, so just let you guys know. It's exempt, but they notify the commission anyways, if anyone wants to see the letter.
okay.
It's leaning.
Do we have the next hearing?
Are you,
The next hearing.
are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yay. Good stuff. Okay, there you go.
Town of Walpole, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Conservation Commission Notice of Intent. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, the Walpole Wetlands Protection Bylaw, notice hereby given the intent of Daniel and Andrea McCarthy, to construct a proposed 794 square foot garage addition located at 8 Heritage Drive, map 12, lot 111, within the buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetlands. Application and plans may be viewed at Conservation Commission Office, room 212, 135 School Street, or www.walpole-ma.gov/Conservation Commission. Public hearing on the above matter will be held in person at Walpole Town Hall, FinCom Room, 135 School Street, on May 14th, 2025, at 7:15 PM. All interested person requested to be present. Okay, so, representing the applicant,
Oh, use the microphone.
yes, please. And is there a sheet to sign in there?
Yes.
Okay. if you would.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Well, it's more the television people.
Oh,
that can
gotcha.
hear you.
Okay.
Don't forget to smile, you're on TV.
Thank you. I'm Debbie Anderson. I'm the wetlands consultant for this project. I have the mailings receipts for you. I just want to give that to you. I'm here with the owner of the property, Daniel McCarthy. Co-owner, yes. So I don't know if you can see this plan, but essentially, the property, this is, oops, sorry. The house is, there we go. The house is located up here, which is just off of Heritage Drive. The first green line here is BVW, which is associated with this perennial stream that enters the property through a culvert. Up in this part of the property, kind of goes southeasterly through the property and then turns south off the property. There is a bordering vegetated wetland associated with that, and that is this first green line, and this other green line is the 25-foot no disturb. So essentially with the delineations, it has the entire property is within the 200-foot riverfront area, and the majority of the property is wetlands. So the proposed project is a garage two-story addition to this portion of the house, and also an expansion and repaving of an existing compacted gravel driveway. The impervious surface on the property currently is at 5% of the property, and it's going to go up to about 6.5%, which is less than the 10% threshold for requiring mitigation or restoration. So the entire impervious, the additional, will be 944 square feet. We need to remove one tree because of the expansion of the driveway, which is located in this area. The addition is going to be over either existing lawn area or a portion of the existing gravel driveway. We did get an 11th hour DEP file number, which we appreciate. We are going to put in an erosion control filter mitt in this area, which is just outside of the 25-foot no disturb. And the existing disturbed area is the deck off the back of the property. So this work is no closer to the riverfront than the existing conditions. Happy to answer any questions.
Good.
Yeah, so there's a drain easement along the property.
Right.
Close to the proposed addition.
Yep.
So I'd like to see the erosion control looped up in between the pipe and the construction. So you're not on the construction, on the pipe.
Okay.
Is that?
So on this side of the addition?
Yeah, it's just the erosion control and limited work should go in between the pipe and the proposed addition. You stay
So the
off
pipe's
the pipe.
subsurface, though, so,
Yep, but it's shown on your plan, so is that the approximate location of the pipe?
okay, yes. Okay, that's fine,
Just want to protect the pipe.
of course. No,
Yeah, just
you
cover it up.
If you're gonna speak, use the microphone, please.
Sure, I'm sorry.
And also identify yourself.
Sure,
for the
Dan
record.
McCarthy, property owner.
And then use the microphone if you.
Okay, I will. I'm
just-
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go
giving
ahead.
yourself enough room for the overdig for the foundation, but it looks like you have plenty of room if you just put it.
Right.
somewhere. I think, it looks like you have 25.8 feet to the property line, and then the pipe is, maybe 10 feet or something, or a little over 10 feet. Just put it along that. As long as that's the approximate location of the pipe.
so we're just protecting it from vehicles going over it and such.
Yeah, and excavation too.
Right, okay,
The limit of work. To
We
be
can do that.
close to the boundary of the easement, but you need enough space that
okay,
the
understood.
easement line is shown on your plan. Just so you can put in the driveway and the addition, and you're not going to do any grading to the rear of the house, is that correct? Sometimes
Correct.
with these projects, is like you have a little extra, you have an excavator out there, would you mind just like, going to the backyard and leveling it or smoothing it out, filling in holes, and then you get in a whole new lawn? Just want you to be aware that if any work is to occur to the rear of the house, it should be shown on the plan. Then, so the 25-foot no alteration area comes up to the deck, and there's existing lawn back there, so if the commission wants to discuss no alteration plaques, I would say if they're put out there, they should be along the tree line. The no alteration plaques are a concrete post, maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet above ground, with the sign that says no alteration. And with any new construction, they put them out along the 25-foot no alteration
Yeah,
area. But
there's one currently out there from the DEP. I know that on the top left, if you're looking at the plan. It's like a Mass DEP number sign. It's been there since I've moved in 06.
Mass D, so, right, so that's different than the no alteration plaques. That's,
I clearly don't know what I'm
that's okay. That's the number.
I'll explain it to you, I'll explain it to you, no worries.
Begins with 315, so that's what Debbie was referring, she got it at the last minute.
Okay.
And you do post that number on a sign when you begin the project.
That's it, okay. Questions,
No
comments?
questions at this time?
Yes,
No questions.
I just have one question. Does the erosion control stop at the deck? Is it above ground?
Right.
Below ground?
It's above ground.
Ground?
Yep,
Could it loop and close so it's,
sure,
touching the house so it keeps anything from flowing through under the deck?
yep.
Thank you. That's it.
So, you'd propose putting no alteration plaques along the tree line. You said how many, like 3 or 4, or what do you think?
I don't know, I was just putting it out there that if the commission, if you guys want plaques, that I wouldn't put it at the 25-foot, I would put it at that.
Right, I mean, did this build predate the 25? Is that why there's? Okay. Yeah, I'd be in favor of installing some no alteration plaques where you see fit.
okay. Yeah, I think that is not unreasonable, that we can have them.
One either boundary.
Probably, I would say, well, probably 5 of them, if you want to look, mark your, they should be shown on your drawing. your
Okay.
plan, where they're gonna be.
So you want maybe 3 along the back?
Well,
And
okay, and
then-
each, so this is the tree line, right? This curly line is the tree line?
Yes, yep.
So one at the property corner, I'm on the east side, property corner. So put one there. Well, let's see, no, we've moved down, yeah, on the tree line, on the property corner. There's a lot of holes in here. Okay, and then, like, about out, if you come straight out from your proposed addition, one in there, on the tree line,
Okay.
If you want to just mark that up, we can just give that
Okay.
copy. and come back.
and then on the other side, again, about where the edge of the house is, if you extend that out to the tree line,
Mm-hmm.
and then just one at the corner, so that would be 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
And you can get the description from the,
We'll add that to the plan.
okay. Al, anything?
No,
That's it.
Yeah, I have a question. So I know we've got the standard wording for the plaques, but do we have one that says riverfront? If so, that might be appropriate. If we don't, fine.
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Oh, the plaques we just discussed, and wording on them.
So it still would be the buffer zone.
Okay, I just didn't know if we had ones that said buffer zone for a river or something. If we do, then.
No, because it's still buffer zone for wetlands.
Oh, okay.
The 25-foot goes from the boundary of the wetlands.
Right, it's not even buffer for the wetlands, it's just the wetlands. Anyway, okay, moot point, don't worry.
Okay. Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments? Please identify yourself for the record. Hearing none. Someone want to make a motion to close the hearing?
so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
700.
So, Debbie, I just marked up this plan so you can take it back, and if you would just get the revised plan back to us, and then we'll issue the order.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Got that, and I can send you the deed if you don't have it for the box.
I'll see the part.
Thank you.
Share one. Yeah, it is.
So you closed public hearing, but you didn't,
We didn't actually vote to,
Oh, for the order.
Yeah.
Close the hearing, right? Okay. The standard order with the notes that we made, so you have anything else to add?
Haven't done it.
Lynn?
No.
Okay. We'll make a motion for the order.
So moved.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
700. Okay.
Thanks for being on top of that.
Public hearing, Town of Walpole, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Conservation Commission request to amend order of conditions and land disturbance permit In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Wetlands Protection Act, Walpole Wetlands Protection Bylaw, and Walpole Stormwater and Erosion Control Bylaw, notice hereby given the intent of Bristol Brothers Development Corp. to amend the order of conditions, DEP number 315-1173 for Renmar and West Street, 100 unit AQV, map 32, parcels 85, 86, 94, 95, 96, map 40, parcel 6, map 39, parcels 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, in Walpole, Mass. The request letter and plans are in file, Conservation Office Room 212, Town Hall, or online at www.walpole-ma.gov/Conservation Commission. Public hearing on the above will be held at Town Hall, FinCom Room, 135 School Street, Walpole, on May 14th, 2025, beginning 7:30 PM. All interested persons requested to be present. Okay, what do we have? This is from Town Engineer. Okay, he's reviewed the plan set and a letter from Taylor Corsano, project manager of Crocker Design Group. And a multi-page updated stormwater analysis and report dated April 10th, 2018, and revised April 24th, 2025, prepared by Crocker Design. Project manager for Crocker Design Group has met with myself and the agent to go over the changes, current revision, which are motivated by the anticipated transfer to Pulte Homes. I will not attempt to recap the modifications, but summarize that we are comfortable with the changes. I actually feel the addition of drainage inlets in certain locations, as well as the elimination of the wet basin, Detention Basin 3, are improvements. That being said, I note the following. Drawdown calculations for Basin 3 need to be provided. The designers have indicated that owner test pitting on Basin 3 revealed a section of the basin bottom with well-drained sandy soils. However, because of the current location of stockpiles, this area cannot be test pitted currently. I recommend a condition be adopted requiring the test pit to cover in the presence of the engineering department, to occur in the presence of the engineering department, and based on the results, basin outlet be modified and the basin be a recharge basin. A supplemental drainage report should be submitted addressing the change with revised recharge volumes, drawdown calculations, and peak discharge elevations. I believe this to be an important test and exercise, as this basin is isolated without a design overflow. The addition of infiltration would provide more freeboard or factor of safety. Okay, are you familiar with this? You've seen a copy of this? Okay, go ahead.
And just before they start, just to orient, so the commissioners, so you have a big set of plans in front of you. So this is an amendment, so there's just some changes in that plan set. Clark gave us a very good summary of those changes, which we included in your blue packet, so you can follow along with that. So there are, even though it's a huge plan set, there's minor changes, they will go over very well. But if you want to follow it, they are all spelled out in that summary letter.
In your folder,
It's in your blue.
under the conservation.
Yeah.
If you're referring to a specific drawing sheet, just let us know which number which sheet you are referring to. Okay, representing the applicant?
Great, thank you very much. Thank you, Landis Commissioners. My name is Essex Petrie with Pulte Homes of New England, and I'm here with Taylor Corsano and Josh Green of Crocker Design Group and Mike Rosati of Marchanda and Associates. They are part of our design, engineering, and field team. As noted, we're here for an amended order of conditions for the age-qualified village project at West Street and Renmar Ave. The Bristol Brothers Development Corporation previously permitted this project through the town, including the commission as well as the planning board. Pulte Homes of New England has reached an agreement with the Bristol Brothers to purchase the land, the plans, the associated permits, and construct the project. Our agreement really keeps the plans largely intact. There are no real changes to the plan other than our home product. The footprint is slightly different than the footprint of the homes that were included in the Bristol Brothers project. So in order to accommodate those footprints, we have made some slight refinements to the fine grading on the project, which has also led to some adjustments to the stormwater management. And as noted in the letter from the town engineer earlier, there were some additional adjustments that we made. We have met with Carl and Landis as well as Jim Crowley, and through those meetings, we've accommodated some of the feedback that we received from them in the plans that you've received, and as noted in his letter. So tonight, we're excited to present the project to you and hear any questions and comments that you may have. So I'm going to turn it over to Taylor and Josh to talk through the details of the changes and present them to you. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Taylor Corsano with Crocker Design Group. Essex did a pretty good job of summarizing, so I will start on sheet C, 4C, just to go through some of the changes in phase one. So as you stated, Bristol Brothers is currently out there building the project. They're working on phase one now. They're getting ready to move to phase 2 and 3, which is where the wetlands are located. In phase 2, one of the major changes was this was previously a wet basin, so it had about 2 feet that held water. The applicant, in order to make room for their house footprints, we pushed in the wall or the berm of this basin to have a wall to give these homes a little bit more of a backyard. So in turn, we made this a detention basin. It still functions the same as a wet basin, it just doesn't hold water. In order to accommodate the volume, that we shrunk the volume, we made the orifice that goes out to the wetland a little bit larger, so it just discharges a little bit more water. The other major change in phase 2 was, as Carl stated in his letter, we added inlets along the retaining wall that's up against the wetland. This is kind of just an additional measure to make sure that as this swale kind of comes down, we're catching water as it goes. So previously it was kind of just going through the swale. Now we have inlets that catch it. All goes the same spot, but it kind of slows the flow down. I think that is the only major change. Oh, the wall here did swing a little bit closer to the 25 foot, still out of it, but it moved about 3 feet, roughly. And then we'll move to C4B. Our plan set's a little backwards. But moving to the last phase, the large infiltration basin in the back previously had a house in it. We eliminated that house and moved it into the development, which allowed for a more uniform, larger basin, which is very great, infiltrates beautifully out there. So this was makes up for the fact that we're discharging more water on the other side, but we're catching it here. So, and then we did regrade the swale in the back here. Previously, we had a little small section of infiltration through here. So we had a swale coming down this way, a swale going this way, and it kind of just met in the middle. Now we have a nice uniform swale that leads all the way to infiltration basin 8, which we didn't have to change because the volume, we had a lot of volume left in there. I think we did change, just small changes to a few of the landscape walls behind homes 199 and 97 and 96. We previously had a larger wall with a 1.5 to 1 riprap slope here. We were able to push the wall down, and now it's just a small landscape wall, and we eliminated the need for the riprap. And then those are the changes. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer.
Lance?
I don't really have any comments pertaining to the design. Like Taylor has said, Essex, Carl and I have sat down a couple times with them, gone over these plans, preview before the revisions were made. And after the revisions were made, we were both really comfortable with what was done out there. I also walked the site this morning just to make sure that all the erosion control is up to par. And they've done a really good job in keeping things buttoned down. It's very dusty though, I guess you have a water truck come by enough. And there's humongous piles of gravel everywhere that I guess used to be stone. So they'll be removing the gravel, removing the gravel and the loam and stuff like that in the meantime. But the site looked really well taken care of. Erosion control looked well taken care of, so I don't have any issues with that.
Before we go around, Jack, can we just ask, what do you want to see where which sheet what is on, before we leaf through every single one here? What's your,
I'm looking for the detail sheet that shows catch basins and the oil water separator.
yeah, what,
That would be on, I think they're 9.
it's 9?
It should be in the 9. So we
Okay.
don't have an oil water separator. We don't need one of those, but I do have the catch basins on this.
Okay,
And it's a double grate and a single grate.
okay, thank you. Now we can go around. We were gonna be leaving for the next 15 minutes, so we were gonna just.
There's a lot of
Oh, this is not the right one?
That's not the one I was looking for.
Sorry, so I'll put it in the bad spot for you.
9.1,
Well, apparently that's not the one Al's looking for. So he'll have to ask, but when we get to your, you
Just added.
just had it?
All right, you finished?
I am finished.
Okay. Julie? Any questions, comments?
No.
Jessica?
Not at this time.
Okay, Bailey?
Your recommended additional conditions, they're gonna be included in the conditions?
Yeah, when we get to the condition portion of the project.
No comments?
Media?
So this project, has begun?
Site work has started,
Site
yes.
work has begun, okay, all right. And do you have a completion date? I know it's kind of tentative, or,
For the entire project, at large, probably, I would say 3 years is,
3 years?
Longer than that, I think.
say 3 to 4 years.
Depends on the market, if they can, depending on what the market will absorb, but I think currently, right now, you're doing, on most of your projects, two a month,
Yeah.
two billings a month, so.
So
it's
maybe
100.
just a brief summary of the history of the site, because for our two members and members that maybe, this has been going on since 2018.
Yeah, I can do that.
You guys probably have the best.
Yes. So we started permitting this project, I think, back in 2018. It's always been a 100-unit age-qualified development. When we had previously done it, we went through permitting and all that, and then we ended up modifying the project, changing some of the layouts, the houses. So that's why we've been back for a couple amendments through there. And then the latest one is obviously swapping the homes for Bristol. So it's off of West Street and Renmar. It previously was a quarry operation that they are turning into age-restricted homes. I don't know if that helped more.
Yeah, so the site has been pretty much de-treed and stumped, and they've taken out, you
Yes.
know, a lot of gravel and sand, I believe, and it's now ready for the next phase of the project, which will be road construction, utilities, and
Yes, and in addition to the project, as a part of our special permit, we did off-site mitigation, which installed a water main and sidewalk down Norfolk Street to mitigate for the project with planning. And that, I believe, is pretty much wrapped up, yeah. And I guess it looks very good. I have not driven it, but
And since there's the Pulte, who is now gonna be coming in to build the houses are slightly different than the original plan. And then that's what why they came back for this particular amendment, as well as the detention basins. That's just-
Yeah, their house footprints were just longer. In our previous plan, we had a lot of walkouts, and it just didn't fit to Pulte's house standard, so it just, in turn, made us raise some grading and figure out some of the yards a little bit better.
Anything else? Minnie?
Other than that, the rest of the plan has already been approved.
No,
There's a lot there.
I was here in 18, I don't remember, but, so the site has been kind of,
It's been work, so they've been working, I think, on phase one for almost a year and a half now. Going through, I mean, it's slow because Walpole's pretty far for them, so that they have a two-man crew out there. But now that Pulte's working on the house footprints, they're cruising through phase one, they're moving to phase 2 and 3.
gotcha, okay. Erosion controls will be maintained, obviously, during the course of.
Yeah, my understanding is Bristol Brothers and the CF, McCarthy, who's been
Yes.
there the whole time, will still be there doing the site work, and as they move from phase to phase, they'll still be there. So my understanding is the same people who have been managing the site will still be there as each phase is worked. So that's encouraging, because they have done a good job so far. Not that you guys, I'm sure, will do a good job at building the houses.
That's all I've got.
Al?
Did we go all the way around?
Yeah.
Oh, we did, okay, fine.
My only question is, in reviewing this, I came across the water quality structure you show, and I don't understand how that keeps trash and oil in the structure when the water level comes up and goes out the outlet.
We're on C9-4.
They should probably catch me on there. So, we're talking about the structure here, right?
Oh, yeah, you know.
You want to, can you show it up there so everybody can see?
I don't have the details printed.
Uh,
But they are
Yeah.
on the screen.
It might come up, C9-4.
This? Laser pointer. Yep.
There we go.
There we go.
Is that
Yeah,
show
that's,
what the structure you're looking at now?
Yeah, that'll do it.
Okay.
There we go. So I don't want to hit anyone. There it is. It doesn't work on the screen.
no, it doesn't work on the screen.
Very.
That one.
I can point at this one over here. Not that short. All right, so water will come in on one side, carrying the debris. It comes into the center section, and I agree the detail doesn't show a great kind of cross-section of that, but that's what kind of spins the water to get the solids to separate from the rest of, or the solids to separate from the water. So water will pass down, and then the solids, when you get that flush at the end of the storm, actually drops down into the lower section. So it isn't the rise and fall of the water during a storm. It's at the end that it actually goes down to the bottom and stays there. So I can see what you're saying as far as like it moving up and down, it moving around, just think where you're going with it. But it's, you have to think at the end of the storm, it actually drops down into the lower section.
Okay. See, the reason I look at that is, this is a part of town that hasn't had any large amount of oil and trash in the environment, and all of a sudden, with 100 homes, we could have a lot of oil on the street that comes from people's cars and tires and such, and we could have people throwing their cigarette butts out the window and things like that. So I want to make sure that we're, like everybody else, this project is going to hold those things until the structures get cleaned. And I didn't understand this one, so that's why I'm asking.
So that is actually kind of what this type of treatment structure is good at, is kind of residential areas, the debris that you see in that kind of use. It's not, I mean, it is right now a heavy industrial area, so those uses are there. These are good for kind of all kinds of smaller uses in a smaller watershed area. So for a residential use, it makes sense. It does trap that material and keeps it separate. So, you know, assuming that everything's followed maintenance-wise, it does a good job at exactly what you're describing.
And you will have a plan to clean these on a regular basis.
Absolutely. Operation and maintenance plan is in the stormwater report for it.
Okay, that's all I have.
You said that is in the stormwater report?
Yes, it is.
Maintenance, okay. That's it?
No, no comment.
Okay. Anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Please identify yourself for the record. Hearing none, would someone make a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Very good. You have some,
Yeah, so I was just recommending to add to the conditions under the amendment, kind of combining Carl's request. So it needs to be reworked a little bit, but additional soil tests shall be completed prior to the construction of Basin 3 under the direction of the town engineer to determine if Basin 3 will infiltrate. If so, infiltration is preferred, and the basin outlet should be redesigned to allow additional information, and we put in that a supplemental drainage report shall be submitted for review. And I just need to double check what was written in the original order, but all retaining wall plans designed by structural engineers shall be submitted to the Conservation Commission. Any change to the walls, including materials, constitutes a change in plans. And then all swales conveying stormwater shall not retain standing water. If standing water is observed over 72 hours, the situation shall be fixed. Those.
Very reasonable.
so those would be, that last one would be a continuing condition?
Yeah.
So I guess the same with the other, is there any change in the wall plans that'll be continuing?
Yeah.
The soil test, that's,
Right, that just needs, right
Right.
now, there's a big, huge pile of gravel on top of the area, so they can't really
Right.
do a test right now.
okay. So, anybody have anything else they want to add? Okay. So someone make a motion for those to be added to the order as, to the amendment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
700. Do we have to sign anything?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I just actually had one more thing. So we
Oh,
did
the
submit.
extension.
Yes, the land disturbance extension. I just want to make sure we have that covered too.
Yeah, yes, so your vote, you just make a vote for the amendment to the land disturbance permit also.
Okay, someone move that?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
700.
And then in addition, they need an extension for the,
Okay, what do you suggest for an extension, since it's gonna be a while? Normally, we go 12 months.
yeah, you're usually under the bylaw, you only give a year extension, so.
So someone will make a motion for a 12-month extension. This
So
is to the bylaw,
So moved.
12 months? For both, okay, the order and the bylaw, okay.
Sorry, for the 12-month extension, is there a potential that that could be longer, only because we'll be out there, and so we'll be in town, other than coming back here each year that we're out there?
Normally, we've done that just to keep track of things. Why don't we do it 12 months now, and then we'll see where you are 12
At that
months
point.
from now, and then if you can have some idea where you stand and where you're relative to
Sure,
completion.
if things look good, and we can
then,
maybe get
we
a
can,
bigger one.
we can address that at that time. Just remind us that we said we would review that at that time.
I definitely will, thank you.
Okay.
The extension is on the original order, so
Yep.
that date.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
We were in the middle of a approval, weren't we?
Oh, do we need to move and second something? Yeah, we actually do. Whatever that was, the extension.
The
12
extension.
month. Okay.
We did a
Okay,
12
you
month.
did the extension? No?
No, we
No,
haven't voted
didn't.
that
We
yet.
voted a different thing.
So,
Ally,
So moved.
second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So that's the extension.
And you voted the amendment to
We-
the order and the vote.
And
We
the
voted for
and
three
land
things.
disturbance permit.
Three
yeah.
things I
We
voted.
did, they were all 7-0-0.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Didn't help you much.
I know what you mean, because we sometimes have an abandoned project, it's just like, okay, we haven't seen them for a while, because they decided they weren't gonna do it after all.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
this has been
No, I know,
going
I
on
know.
so
I know.
long, we'll just see what, and I don't like to change our normal 12 months, because we have others that were dragged on and on, you know, so.
almost two now, right?
Oh, I guess I'll sign it here.
Okay, then, we got an old sheet here.
Oh, my goodness, this is an old sheet, and I just signed an Al spot. All right, let me fix it.
No.
She's carrying the same, feels the
Okay.
same, if that matters, I don't know.
Is that for the extension?
Yeah, and I just signed an Al
A lot
spot.
of boys in his family, so I think.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to be careful.
Yeah, we're excited, my wife's excited, obviously, and,
Grandbaby number two.
yeah. My son, nothing yet, but
That's,
He's younger though,
that's
right?
called
son
conserving
is,
paper.
yeah.
Okay.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, he's,
We saved a half a tree.
I can pull it up in front of it.
Oh, no, it's all right, we've already signed it, it's fine.
Oops, we went to see Devo.
We just try to be vigilant.
He's a cutie, we love him.
So I added the two and didn't switch you and Al.
He's a smart
Yeah,
man.
so I signed an Al spot, but that's all right.
So much fun.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know why you were so careful about that, because you look at any other board, and you can't read the signatures.
Oh, you
know
can't
who it
read
is that
mine.
voted.
Yeah, you can read mine.
No, but I mean, when you look at it, all right, who voted that in? Okay, where are we?
We have a discussion.
It's a good thing it's not a secret anymore.
Yeah, good thing.
Do you want to say anything
that we
first,
can-
or
I do
just
often
invite
forget that we're on.
Mr. Southwood to
I
the
know.
table?
Yeah, it's the request was to be put on the agenda, so,
Okay, you want
if you're ready, I have some
Move up.
pictures that I can commission if
to, okay.
you may have some pictures as well.
Let's get the official stuff out of the way, right?
This is Ken Southwood. You are on the Ponds Committee, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, sir, I am. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
You ready? Okay, I am on the Ponds Committee, which I've been on for 15 years now, and we've just had great success, especially when we get 5 to 10 inches of ice. It's just been fabulous success up there during the winter time. In the summertime, I primarily spent, as you know, as volunteer groups come and groups go, they grow. In the wintertime, there's a lot of volunteers to help keep it organized, get everybody safe and everything like that, and keep the skating atmosphere safe. Obviously, there's a lot more people on any given day. During the spring, summer, and fall months, it's primarily been myself and random volunteers. I'd also like to introduce Mr. Greg Benson. He's part of this in a veteran support capacity. But basically, for the past 15 years, I've mowed the lawn, I've trimmed the bushes, I've picked up all the trash. That includes hauling the trash to the DPW. And just been a part of the property, meeting the fishermen, meeting all the kids that come and go. It's a treasure to this community. So as a member of the Ponds Committee, I am here for this project, this small bridge project, in support of the Ponds Committee, as well as the piece of property that we have up there. Now, to keep it, when we got there, you couldn't see the parking lot from the street. you certainly couldn't see the pond from the street, or even if you pulled into the parking lot. And that's 15 years ago. So we maintained a small chunk for the winter and the skating, and kayakers and canoers could come and go from that small area. Since then, I've and I take full responsibility for this, I've trimmed up the entire length of the property and opened it up so that when you come around the corner on Elm Street, in either direction, you see our beautiful Turner's Pond in all its glory that it is. So we've gone in, I myself, and I speak in support of the Ponds Committee and everybody's efforts for the piece of property. It's just a piece of property that we've expanded a little more on for more of a year-round gem. I mean, we have people stopping in, travelers, 27's a commuter rail, roadway from Natick as far south as you want to go. You know, we're a commuter society. People drive by. So that's where we stand as far as the history and the effort that the community has brought to this through the skaters, the donations that we've been given to keep the pond alive, to keep the property alive. We mow it, weed whack it, trash it, and all that. So now, in expanding the property, there are two outlets that inlets that come from the swamp northwest of Turner's Pond, basically across Elm Street. They come from the Great Swamp there. There's also two catch basins in the parking lot, and those two inlets come into the parking lot at each, there's two of them, one at each end. Since clearing up the property a little bit, through donations, and we had a longtime member by the name of Sean McDonald, who was there heart and soul for a good 5 to 7 years, day in and day out. You know, like any of us, our kids were there, and just when our kids got older, mine have graduated now, and as most of ours, we're all still there taking care of this property for everybody. One of those inlets, through donations, we have come upon some bridge stock, and it's basically, it works. It's oversized lumber to build a bridge across just one of the spillways so that we can incorporate in the future, you know, dress it up a little bit more. This is all donation money. We go out, somebody shows up and says, I have this, we'll take some of this for possibly plans like this or any additions or restructuring we can make in all the building code parameters and stuff like that we can do to the property. We'll take this lumber. We were giving lumber to build a 16-foot bridge that this lumber is way oversized. Mr. Mattson, head of DPW, went up and took a look at it and shook his head and said, yeah, you guys got this covered. So in discussion with Landis, she went up and took a look at it with the beach improvements we've had and the rest of the common ground that's up there for the spring and summer fishermen and kayakers. We just want to add this 16-foot bridge across this spillway that comes from the swamp, that it's never high water coming from the swamp. It's never torrential rain. It's just the outlet from the street, from the swamp to the catch basin to the street. And in doing so, we eliminate people that are it's a little bit of safety to keep people from having to walk back up into the parking lot to get around, or when they walk up along, there's a small 3 to 4 foot bank there. So they'll walk up along the bank around the top of the concrete outlet, which is that's just compounding. We don't want people walking over the top of that outlet. The entire thing, the riprap and everything is beginning to fall in to the culvert itself, as well as the sediments and the debris that are coming from the catch basin that's out in the parking lot. It's becoming more full. So this is it's a nicer way to get across the property. It's a safer way to get across the property. And we're not gonna build anything that's unsafe. It's gonna be overbuilt. And, you know, for anybody, as the lumber's being donated, and we're out there raising it. So right now, what we have in place is we have the bridge. We have enough lumber, the timbers and everything, just to build the bridge across. What I would like to see is that we get this bridge as low as possible, which will involve sinking our timbers into the riprap. Now, the riprap, right now, there are pieces that are falling in and everything. We are happy to get it resecured, clean out the spillway, get the riprap back in proper positioning, and at the same time, it allows us to keep this bridge as low as possible to the ground so that we don't have to bring in any type of fill, or we don't have to build any extended wooden handicap access or ramps like this. It's basically, it'll just be like you're walking a trail and then you come upon a bridge at the same level that you're just gonna continue across. Right now, like I said, we have the decking components of it, and if we get the decking down, that'll give us more opportunity to show people that we have a shot at getting this done, and possibly getting the rest of the lumber donated for the proper handrails that building codes would like to see to get across it. We're trying to, the smaller we can do it, the lower to the ground we can do it, overall it's gonna have a less impact on how much we disturb anything around it without having to bring in fill and stuff like that. And to bring up Sean McDonald once again, this bridge is gonna be dedicated in his honor for the time he spent there, and unfortunately Sean passed away 4 years ago, sudden, and we just wanna have another piece of Sean that gave his time and his family, brought his family, and just another memorial to somebody in town, and we wanna keep this as simple as possible, as low as possible. So, I know not everybody has a chance to get out and look at these projects. You have plenty on your plate. I invite everybody to take the time to just to drive through the parking lot and see Turner Pond and the glory that it is for Walpole. And I mean, ultimately, what you guys have on your plate, this is low-hanging fruit. This is almost a no-brainer. It's free, other than, the labor's gonna be free. He's gonna have to do some work for me. But, the construction is free. I'm a lifelong carpenter, 25 years. I'm a veteran of the construction trades. And, this is just a low-hanging fruit project that I think will bring an accent to what is already a beautiful place. So,
Okay,
my spiel.
thank you.
Landis does have some pictures. Now, what those pictures reflect are, when we got the beams, we just kind of laid them on some concrete blocks and put them across. Nothing, we didn't disturb anything, we didn't put any shovels in the ground. That was just to get an idea and give us a component. Now, they were out there for 4 months. And it was also an advertising campaign, because when we had people skating, they'd look over and they'd say, "What's that all about?" And I said, "Well, we're looking to build a bridge, we're working on it." And lo and behold, somebody said, "I have some lumber that I will give you for that." And it's the decking lumber this decking for a 16-foot bridge. We're not going your back porch. We have 2 3/4 by 8-inch decking, tongue and groove. Our beams are 3-inch by 10-inch, as you can see. Now, in a 5-foot span, we're gonna have 3 of those. I mean, I could build it with 1 if I wanted to. So this is highly reinforced, and it's just an appreciation for what Turner Pond is. We recently had an effort. There's a survey out there through the Economic Development Committee, which Landis has worked on, to have the design kids come in for the Memorial Pond. This is what we've done over the past 15 years through the Ponds Committee and all the families involved, I mean, this Turner Pond, it's turned into an economic prosperity. And just the people I've met, if I could show you the picture of the fish that have been caught out of there, I mean, and it's just an amazing spot, and we're all just looking to keep it going and just add little pieces when we can.
Okay, thank you. Landis, any comments?
Yeah, so I just suggested that Ken come in and talk to the commission about his ideas for the bridge, since the property is a conservation land donated to the Conservation Commission under Article 97 for a natural resource area. So the Ponds Committee has done amazing things out there with the skating and brought in a lot of families and utilizing the area, which had been very underutilized for years. So that's all been great, and they've been a really good job. This bridge area, they wanted, when they augment the sand in the area in front of the lodge, and an order of conditions was issued for that. So there's two things. Conservation Commission sort of is the manager of the land, the site, but there's also this regulatory thing called the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act. So when the sand was put at the beach, the order of conditions gave certain area that should be worked with the beach, and then other areas shouldn't be cleared. So there has been additional clearing beyond that area that was the parameter of the order of conditions along the bank of the pond, and there's definitely wetlands vegetation there. So part of my concern is you're creating a path along the pond in a wetlands area, and what regulatory requirements does that hold? And then putting this bridge over the stream, or outlet, you're right, it's more of an outlet than a stream, but it's a stream on the other side of Elm, and then it goes under Elm, and it comes out at the head wall, goes into the pond. So that's why I want him to come in, one, to kind of get an idea from the commission. Is this something that the commission sees as a good idea for Turner's Pond, as the manager of Turner's Pond? Obviously, the Ponds Committee is the committee has their feet on the ground with this project and Turner's Pond. And then the next step would be kind of figuring out the permitting thing, which is a whole nother issue on top of that.
Questions, Julie?
Yes, the only question I would have is the disturbance question of the wetlands, putting something like this. The impact it might have.
Well, I took it upon myself, and I own this, and I will stand up for every one of you on this Conservation Committee, that if anybody gives you a hard time for what we've done up there, I'll be the first in line to stand up, and I own it, okay? So what I've done, I've trimmed it back. And I went through with the chainsaw, one, just to get a look at it.
Okay.
To get a look at what in it, because literally, it was massive invasive growth
Right.
from one end to the other.
No, wait a minute.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just want to stick to factual information.
Well,
So
Landis-
massive invasive of what?
Landis,
Dan?
if I may finish,
No.
Landis.
Hold it. Landis has the floor.
Yes, sir.
If you're going to say that there's massive invasive species, I don't know what you're talking about. What species are that's what you said is that what you're saying, you were cutting down invasive species?
Now, if I may respectfully, Landis.
And I think the point is that if you're going to do something, and if the commission likes the idea, then there has to be a permitting process. And it really doesn't matter if I like it, or you like it, or they like it. It still has to go by the regulations of the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, so.
Yes, ma'am,
what I wanted to
ma'am,
put
and that's why I'm here.
Okay, thank you.
I am, that's why I'm here. Now, when I say massive invasive growth, and this is the vines that you see that kill every tree. That kind. Specifically what it is, I'm not into the plants.
So my question, back to
Okay.
my question.
Yes, ma'am.
So my question is, just really having that knowledge in front of us really helps us kind of see where it's gonna be and what it might impact, knowing what's already there and what hopefully might need to be replaced if it's been taken out. And those are the questions I have. If you
Okay.
have a study on that, or you would be looking to do something.
No,
like
there
that.
won't be any studies, because this is all volunteer work, and we took, any money we put into this, we pay for the gas, we pay for the maintenance.
Right,
we pay for
I
the
understand
time.
that, I understand
Now,
that.
if I may, now, when we got there,
So my question was just about the impact that the bridge would have, and I
it's
just.
it's an overall 100% positive impact for
No, I
the
mean,
community.
I get it, 100%, I get that, that's so great. I'm just, from a conservation wetland point of view, I'm just wondering, that's all.
I'm there on a regular basis, and since we've got there, since we have all taken a part of this, and since I'm there probably 4 times in a month, there is 99.9% less trash on that property since we have invited the community to see it.
Okay.
If I may, sir.
No, I think you've told us what you have done, and so we're going through the board to get any other questions.
I can give you
Julie,
the
do you have
impact
anything else?
studies.
No.
Okay,
I'm not
Jessica,
getting the answer.
Not at this time.
Haley?
So as low to the ground, how long are the boards again?
It's
How much would be in the ground?
16 feet across.
Yeah.
Okay, approximately 5 feet wide. And it is a 3-inch by 10-inch. There's gonna be 3 of them.
Okay.
So on each side, we will appropriately set the riprap that it is, so there's gonna be 3 on this side, three beams on this side sticking in, 3 beams on this side.
We meet in the middle.
Into the riprap. And then in the middle is what she called it, the water. It's spanning, now, at the same time, we're gonna be cleaning out what's in there, because
Right.
it is full of debris, it is full of too much sediment. We will also be replacing the riprap that has fallen down into the bottom of it, and just cleaning up the whole thing.
Yeah, I guess I don't understand if there's a stream on one side and it comes through the culvert. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. Will it flow over your bridge?
No, it will
It won't flow over, it'll go under, okay.
Going under.
Okay.
It will never, we have
Will
bigger
go over.
problems on that whole end of town if this bridge ever has water on it.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes.
That's it.
Anything else?
No.
Emilio?
Is there any way you can zoom in as to where this is?
Nope. So, Landis, I'm gonna guess this is coming from town. Yes, this is the Sprague property. So we're coming from town, we pull into the parking lot here. Now, right here, you can see one of the inlets at this end of town. You wanna try and zoom in?
Could you use the mic, please, Ken?
Oh, yeah, you gotta
Yes,
use the
sir.
mic.
That's a little better. So here we are coming from the center of town, coming from here. You pull into the parking lot, and right about here, that kind of resembles what is one of the, there's a storm drain right here. The water comes from the swamp in some capacity. Also, there's a storm drain here that catches and it feeds into this. This is a riprap structure on each side with a concrete head wall. All this was put in, there's a granite bench, there's a,
Right, but it's not at that end of the parking lot, it's.
there,
it's the
well,
parking
I'm
lot
just
closer.
describing the entire property. There's a granite bench right here that was donated at one time. The name tag has fallen off this one. As we move up the property, this is a piece of land in between. That's about the bend. So it's right about here, under this willow tree that's almost dead now. Right about here is the second inlet that comes from a catch basin here that I believe in some fashion also brings the water from the swamp. This catch basin goes to here, which this also has the concrete head wall and the riprap on the inside. So this right here is what we're looking to build a small bridge across.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else immediate?
As tight as you can get. Yeah. okay. Yeah, I guess that's.
The lumber's up there, so if you have any questions and you feel, you have the time to drive
There's
by.
a picture.
Okay.
The lumber's right there at the head end of the parking, at that end of the parking lot.
Al, any questions?
Well, first thing that comes to my attention is that the Wetlands Protection Act uses 3 words, fill, dredge, or alter. Well, this certainly, a lot of this is altering the wetland. You claim it's a great thing, but Mother Nature might disagree with you and prefer to have some of the growth there. But aside from that, the building of a bridge, you should be filing a notice of intent, just like the Trail Committee filed to do the work they do. So I don't see that we should be giving you a shortcut to the process. And the second thing is, you're talking about lumber. Well, is this lumber treated to prevent rot, or is it the kind of lumber that doesn't rot? And, okay, I can see building a bridge out of donated lumber, and in 3 years it rots away, and somebody needs to do the whole thing all over again. So I think we need a little more information on what the proposal is. We need to see a plan, just like anybody else would have to provide. So I think that that's your next step, is to come up with a plan. You saw us spending a lot of time looking at plans, and
We're not making any money on this, we're
we
volunteering.
don't, that has nothing to do with it, whether you're making money on it or not. But we need to see a plan that shows what you're going to do and how it's going to be stable and stay there. And whether it's without a plan and without a filing, it's not legal. And if somebody fell off of it, they could sue the town for being on an illegal bridge. So let's look at the whole picture.
Okay. Betsy?
Yeah, I think Al brought up a good point. The Trails Committee is all volunteer. Trails Committee works really hard. Trails Committee gets donations all the time. They don't make any money. They don't have much of a budget. They're getting donated lumber, sometimes that Trex stuff, T-R-E-X, for their boardwalks over wetlands. Gary is just a great example, and he files notices of intent. So it sounds like that's your next step, your next logical step, because here's your fellow committee in town, exactly like yours, except they're in charge of all sorts of other things like trails, but a lot of those trails go across wetlands. A lot of those trails have bridges, a lot of those trails. So your next step is you're going to file for a permit to do this. And when we say plan, Gary doesn't come in with a great big set of plans like this. Please don't. It wastes paper. I mean, you're coming in with a pretty good-looking sketch. Your volunteer who's most capable of doing it, and you're coming in with your complete plan, and you're expecting to discuss it. I mean, Gary Riggett does it all the time. You could even ask him, hey, how do you do this? You get to put boardwalks any old where you want.
No,
Yeah.
I worked with Gary on many of the
Yeah,
boardwalks.
so you know that's how he does it. So just say, Gary, how'd you get to build a boardwalk across the wetlands? He builds it across the river.
I know,
Yeah,
it was
okay,
a lot of fun.
yeah. So, I mean, that was oh, did you help him with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, he had a permit for it. So just, okay, and that's your next step. Simple. As simple as Gary does it, and he's a volunteer.
Okay, how can I do that as a private citizen?
Private citizen.
Yes, because this is not, I am here in support of
Oh,
I'm here as a private citizen
Okay.
in support. I'm not here representing the Walpole Ponds Committee.
Oh, you're not?
No, I'm here as a private citizen that
Well,
takes care
okay,
of property.
is that, the property is owned, is under the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission.
Yes,
And the
I
Ponds
understand that.
Committee has, I think the order, the order of conditions that Landis referred to was issued to the Ponds Committee or through Conservation, but it allowed work to be done.
Yes,
But you are dealing, as you have said, you're right in the middle of a wetland area, which is under our jurisdiction, and in order to do any work in this area, as by definition, you need a permit. So, you as
I
an
need-
individual,
so that-
it's not your,
Property.
it's not your, quote, property, because they said it's under jurisdiction of conservation, and we have worked with the Ponds Committee, which would probably be the best way to start, is through the Ponds Committee
Yeah.
to conservation and get the proper permit.
Yeah.
okay, good
And
enough.
then we could look at a plan and look at, and then decide what, what you're suggesting is appropriate.
Okay, good enough.
So,
That'll work.
Well, the Ponds, you're not sure the Ponds Committee approves of this, or you just haven't run it by him yet?
Well, basically, I haven't run it by him.
Oh, God, run it by him.
Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows it's there. I haven't, I haven't put it formally to the Ponds Committee as a committee. So if you want me to go that route, I will, more than happy to go that route. I
I
will
would
have them
suggest
sign off
that
on
you
it.
start with the Ponds Committee,
Yeah.
because we have worked with them. If the Ponds Committee doesn't want to get involved, then come back to the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
And
As
you
far
can
as,
decide what
can I just
would be
explain,
appropriate.
as far as the lumber, this lumber is gonna be there long after we're all gone. It's pressure-treated lumber, it's oversized lumber. I'm not building a bridge to get anybody hurt, anything like that.
Well, we'll worry about that later.
Yeah.
As far as, that's details that would be part of the presentation for
Okay.
permitting.
Excellent.
So,
Yeah. Get it on the
Okay.
agenda for a Ponds Committee meeting.
I think I know.
Discuss it and vote it.
I think I know something.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Speaking of, are we in the process of adding another board yet to Turner's Pond?
So,
We've been requested to add another board or more to the
what I
pond.
used to do is confer with Jimmy Thomas and see what he thinks as far as his people putting in a board, and we'll go from there. I definitely think there can be one by, the end of May, so if it's,
Okay,
right now the pond is up
Yeah.
further than it was before. The ledge that Mr. Ryan was talking about is now submerged in water, and there's an inside gauge, and it's up to about the 2 point, which seems like a good level, so I think we still have some time that if we put in a board, we'll still retain water for the summer, so I know that that's a concern. We want to put it
yeah,
in before we go into the summer kind of droughty weather, but not before we've gotten over this rain-soaked
yeah.
events that we've been having, so.
The Landis has been checking regularly the Turner Pond level, and also working with Jim Thomas at DPW to we've added one board so
Yes.
far.
Yes.
And when the next one would go in, Landis will make that decision between talking with Jim Thomas and Landis. They'll decide when the next board goes in. So, in case you hear anything.
Okay. Yeah, so we have to be careful, because sometimes if there's too many boards in, we get a big rain event, then we have issues with some people that live around the pond and their septic systems. in January 2024. We got so much rain so quickly that it bent the grate in front of the dam, so we don't want to damage that more. It is not an easy situation. It's not like Ellis Pond where they just turn this thing and the board goes up and down. The guys have to bring out the backhoe and they have to attach it to the boards and they have to lift it up. It's very difficult if there's a lot of water going over. So there's a lot of different, it'd be so easy to just say, May 1st, we put in a board, take out a board, but the weather changes. It's hard to tell. From year to year, it's been changing. And these big rain events are.
And Landis has been doing this for a number of years, and I don't see any reason that we would want to alter the procedures that Landis has been following. So,
I've reached that, 23 years this July 22nd.
Wow.
Is that all?
oh,
That's
neat.
all. That's all. My daughter was just 8 months old when I started.
Not time enough
My
for,
youngest daughter.
not time enough for the gold watch yet.
No, not that. There's several members here in town that definitely outweigh me at times. I think Rick Mattson just hit his 50-year point.
Oh, really?
Really? Yikes.
Okay, anything else on Turner's Pond that you wanted to add?
No.
Okay.
Board comments?
Where are we? Board comment,
Yeah, I
planning
think
board?
that's the last thing.
Anything to add on those?
So there was a filing with the planning board for site plan review for 49 Summer Street addition. And I do have the plans sitting here. If anyone wants to take a look at them, they'll definitely require filing with the Conservation Commission if you're in South Walpole in the little post office, kind of across from the post office in the pond there. Years and years ago, they filed with us for something, but they're expanding. So it's right on the river, so they're definitely within 200 feet of the river. Oh, yeah, that's right, I forgot, he did. Dan sent it today, late today, so we'll get that on probably the June 11th meeting.
Okay.
Then the subdivision Heidi Street, which it came before the Conservation Commission as Heidi Street for a single-family house. It's gone before the planning board, and they keep on changing the name. It's not Heidi anymore, now it's Vincenzo Lane.
Vincenzo.
Oh, sorry, Vincenzo.
Come on.
Vincenzo. Okay, Vincenzo Lane.
Vincenzo.
Vincenzo, gotcha.
Kenzo.
That's it. Now you got it.
So, I did review the plans, it didn't seem like there was any substantial changes to that plan, except I think on the subdivision plan, they're gonna have the road, but they're not proposing to pave it at this point, but we may be seeing additional lots down there at some point, I'm thinking.
Well, if they do pave it, they have to come before us. It's a paper road.
Well, it's weird, because it actually, portions of the road, the base, and some of the utilities were actually put
Yeah.
in
And they put
in
some,
like the 70s.
Yeah.
some catch
Prior
basins
to
or something.
83 with
Yeah.
Wetlands Protection Act. So
Oy vey.
there's kind of a road there, but not enough,
Yeah.
there has to be improvements, but there's a base road and there's utilities.
Oh.
You might see additional lots, I don't know, it looks a little tight in there, but it's amazing what people can find. So there's just those two, so planning board will just let them know that they're gonna file this. And with Vincenzo Lane, I would just.
Lord.
Sorry.
Don't let me have to correct you again.
I generally would just send them a letter that if there's changes, they need to come back to the Conservation Commission.
Can you set up a time to give a little lesson for the board? No, anything else, anybody?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Are we ready?
Move to adjourn. Second. All in
All in
favor?
favor.
Aye.
Are we off?